Hi guys, welcome to Startup Weekend Utrecht.
Thank you.
Hi.
How are you doing so far?
It's great stuff here.
Yeah.
A lot of energy here.
Tell me about it.
You know, these guys have been working so hard already, and they make a lot of pace, they ask a lot of questions, and they really are anxious to get our help.
What do you get? What are the type of questions you get?
Many questions about their business model, actually. They're struggling to find a good way to make money out of their business. The ideas are often there, but how to really make that into a business that pays is something that they often struggle with.
Also, one of the groups asked you, can you give us an example of a great pitch in 30 seconds?
Yeah, they were asking us to do the job.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's admirable for them to want to lean on your experience, but I think that's typically been the theme. Like, people think that maybe the mentors have it figured out, and I always like to say that, in my experience, this, or based on these variables or that situation, this was the outcome. So I can't necessarily say if you say those same things or follow those same steps, the same things will happen. So I'm only able to provide them with some insights of what I've seen work with other companies, and they're able to draw from those, make their own conclusions.
Yeah, it's also quite hard not to think of solutions for them, because usually the mentors are also very creative, but
then they're pivoting like mid-conversation, and you're like, well, maybe you shouldn't do that either.
But I like it when you ask those questions and you see them thinking, and they get new insights, or they look at the in a new way or from a new perspective to their problem.
Yeah. Yeah, it comes from experience, I think, from, if these people have, maybe in some cases, I think there's quite a variety in ages and backgrounds, which is often a strength, I would say, of Startup Weekend, is that people that didn't know each other before are now launched into this 36 hours of working extremely hard and well together. But that being said, I mentioned this earlier, is if they're within that team and they found some kind of rhythm and they're focusing on what that is, and maybe they have the confidence that they have product market fit, but they're not paying attention to what the other teams are doing. So when we first got here, we were in a room kind of like this, talking about user acquisition, sales as B2B, getting the customers, and teams were actually seeing how other teams were approaching that. So there's a lot to be learned across the teams as well, that it's not just up to the mentors.
It's also good to see that some of them have really found their clients and paying customers already.
It's amazing.
That's amazing, isn't it?
It's I think that's the spirit of the event as well. You always hear that, instead of staying here within the building, people
I like
always
people
compelled to go outside.
Go out, talk to people, talk to customers, and do it earlier.
Yeah.
What is the most valuable experience that you experienced yourself that you are sharing this weekend?
For me, I think it's, especially in a sales role, and I think it depends on how these teams are structured. I mean, startups, you wear lots of different hats, but it's easy for someone within a team, I was just mentioning teams getting kind of a tunnel vision, but even within a team, if someone's just working on the mock-ups or the code or the design or the copy for the website, it's easy to just get in your own job function and mode, and because things are moving so quickly. So in my experience, it's me keeping a close connection with the people that are building the app that I'm selling, or the service that I'm selling, so that I'm actually conveying what we have to the public, because it can change so often. So within these teams, because they're trying to cover so much ground, it's easy for these little detachments to kind of go into different directions and not keep the focus, I think, is the thing.
Yeah. Well, my relationship the relationship with my own experience I used in this morning sessions was that I experienced some guys who were really trying to think too much, really finding every solution and every eventuality, and I think doing a startup or being an entrepreneur is about trusting your gut, even if you don't understand yet where it's going.
Okay, I like that idea. I also believe it, and what I've found during the weekend is from the question I'm asking to these guys, to these startups, I also learned to analyze my own assumptions in my own startup.
Yeah.
So I think when I go back to the office tomorrow, that I also get a fresh perspective on my own startup. So that's one of the takeaways for me during the weekend.
That's certainly a value for people to become involved as a mentor, because you also get locked in your day-to-day routine, and even if you think of yourself as someone that's relatively innovative or forward-thinking and exposing yourselves to like lean methodologies or ideas or thinking outside of the box, you're ultimately within your own box. So coming here, like, it is inspiring because people come up with something out of nothing. And by the end of the weekend, like you said, they've actually got some customers in some cases.
And
so
of course, all these people and for example you guys, is really inspiring to meet all these driven and entrepreneurial people. This is really the heart of the startup ecosystem. So
well, I think that's the extra value of doing weekends like this, is to meet these great startups that have a lot of energy and new ideas, but also to meet guys like you, mentoring them, because, well, we have some experience, but still, there's a lot to gain and to learn from one another, and I always love to connect to other mentors during these weekends, and it has proven to create valuable relationship, friendships, etc. So
well,
extra fun.
That's a nice thing, because I just completely forgot to ask you to introduce yourself to our viewers.
There we go.
So could we do this right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, of course.
So I'd let you take the stage because you won Startup Weekend last year.
My name is Henk Beijert, and 1 year ago I founded together with a group of people Green Bricks. We went to Startup Weekend, we won the weekend, and we built it into a real company, and we got the first paying customers, and we got a development team and things rolling. So yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thanks, Startup Weekend.
My name is Jon Woodroof. I do sales consulting, but also help typically cycling and outdoor companies with PR. There's a ton of overlap there from a methodology perspective, and I've been running my own company here in the Netherlands for the past year. Before that, I worked for a Dutch company named Springnest, and what brought me here was a company called Big Nerd Ranch, and I used to live in Atlanta, and before Big Nerd Ranch, a company called High Groove that did Ruby on Rails consulting actually used to host startup weekends in Atlanta. So I've been to several. I've known about the idea. I've always been kind of involved with promoting or mentoring or actually being there and helping prepare for the event. So for me, it's always been something that very close to me that I'm proud to still be part of now that I'm even living in another country.
Okay. Yeah. Well, my name is Freerk Bisschop. I run the accelerator program for smart energy at Rockstart. I used to work I've been working in energy already for 25 years or so. Started as an entrepreneur in 2000, building my own energy company, and sold that off in 3-4 years' time. So that was my startup experience. Wow. And since then, I've always been involved in innovations in corporates and new startups. Got involved in financing, that kind of stuff. And actually, getting at Rockstart at the end is really bringing everything together again. I can really bring my own experience to guys that are in the same industry, cool. But still starting out. Yeah.
Nice. And what's written on your T-shirt?
It's fail fast to succeed faster. And that's really a motto that every startup should take it hard. Find validation for your assumptions quickly. Find out that they're wrong quickly to find the right ones to build your business on.
Thank you.
Yeah, we always used to say when we used to build custom web apps, like find out if it's not going to work in 6 weeks instead of 6 months.
Exactly. Yeah.
So often, like agencies like ours would propose to build an app for someone, and we're like, well, in 6 months it'll be this or that. Yeah. And we're like, we can have the landing page up tomorrow, and in 2 weeks, there's people signing up, uploading photos, or saving with whatever, interacting with the service. But in 6 weeks, you should know, like, is this going to work or not? And that's how we would position, our service of building a web application for someone. Is like, fail in 6 weeks instead of 6 months, and like that gave us some credibility that we're only asking someone to do like a month and a half experiment. Okay. And then if it works and they see the value, like not only will we continue working with them, but we'll empower their developers to maintain and grow the application as well. So that for us it was the same. There's the same mantra, whereas you would expect another kind of service provider to get you locked in a 6-month or a year-long service agreement, and they've got the recurring revenue, but we had to prove it like over and over again.
Then you force yourself to figure it out early on.
Yeah, and it can still be just as methodical, but people aren't thinking that way. They're like, well, in a few months maybe we'll get our first customer. And it's like, call them right now.
Yeah, but there's a fear to fail in every person, I think, which you should kind of embrace.
Yeah.
Because failing is actually learning. If you fail to ride your bike as a kid, you learn to do it better the next time.
Yeah, no, and I don't know if it's related or where the origins of it are, but there's a guy that I look up to in a lot of ways as far as professionally. He used to work at Nike. He helped start he used to get a British retail brand off the ground in the States, and then moving to London to work for them. Now he's back in California working for Specialized, which is like one of the biggest bike companies. But he always says fail better. So like this, you could fail fast. Yeah. You might just fail, and you might learn something, but like to continually fail better, like you failed better than you did the first time. Like it's like a totally different thing. So he doesn't even say like a longer kind of thing. That he's just like fail better. Like we were like texting back and forth, and some of the stuff that I'm up to, and he's like, man, fail better. And like you could interpret that in so many ways. Like, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's time for a beer now.
Okay.
Thanks to our sponsor.
To our startup.
Cheers.
Cheers.